Hello YouTube and my fellow Shinobis. My name is Lordagon1, and in today's video I'll be going over the new patch notes for 2.29. So without further delay, let's get into the video. So this is the new Naruto reanimation DLC, but we're just going to go over the patch notes right now. We're going to get into DLC later on. Update patch version 2.29 announcement. To provide an even more fun and enjoyable gaming experience, Naruto the Boruto Shinobi Chakra has been updated to version 2.29. Alright, right here's the details. So like I said, this is the Naruto DLC, which I'm going to get into that later on. Alright, here it is. Rebalance Ninjutsu and Secret Technique Ninjutsu. So for attack types. Vanishing Rasengan. Added effect that increases enemy ninja tool cooldown time. Damn. So basically, if you hit somebody with the Vanishing Rasengan, it's gonna increase the cooldown of the ninja tool. Basically, it's gonna make it to where they can't get it back as quick as they could normally. Now, Acrobat Technique. Added effect that removes stun time on hit. Alright, lightning style chakra mode, which is a secret technique. Increased secret technique gauge needed for activation. Damn, man. Increased attack speed when secret technique ninjutsu is active. I mean, that's cool that they did that. The second part of it, increasing attack speed. But increase the secret technique gauge needed for it? Come on. They should just like increase the duration of it, because that secret technique is pretty OP in certain situations. Alright, 8 Tails Chakra mode. Increase secret technique gauge needed for activation. Increase ninjutsu damage. Tail Beast 8 Twists secret technique additional input. Increase damage dealt to enemies. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Alright. So while the first one, it's gonna take you longer to get it, but it increases ninjutsu damage, which any ninjutsu you use while this form is active will have its damage increased. And plus, when you use the second input, where it twists around, it increases damage dealt to enemies with that. That's pretty cool. Now range type, C4 Karura. Reduce secret technique gauge needed for activation. Nah. That's gonna be something right there. Alright, defense type. Ninja Art Needle Jinzo. Decrease ninjutsu cooldown time. Okay. Okay. Boruto Stream. Decrease ninjutsu cooldown time. Super Expansion Jutsu. Reduce secret technique gauge needed for activation. Okay. Yeah, that's one heck of a secret technique. That's pretty cool that they did that for that. Alright, Hidden Miss Jutsu. Reduce secret technique gauge needed for activation. Change from decreased target movement speed to decreased target action speed with intensified effects. Change from increased ally movement speed to increased ally action speed with intensified effects. Huh. That sounds interesting. Alright, Hail type. Byakugan. Decrease ninjutsu cooldown time. That's cool. Alright, Mind Transmission Jutsu. Further reduces target secret technique gauge. Oh, snap. That's kind of crazy. Alright. Alright, Mind Transfer Clone Jutsu. Alright, Mind Transfer Clone Jutsu. Reduction of target secret technique gauge is intensified, and the effect now begins before additional input instead of after additional input. Okay. Okay. That's something right there. I think I might see probably a lot of people that are going to be using that. Alright, Ninja Art Metabolical Regeneration. Reduce secret technique gauge needed for activation. Okay. Rebalanced Weapons. Now, here's the thing. Like, I read this before I'm doing this video, and I like crazy because I was thinking of like doing like a video of what Shinobi Chakra needed. I mean, I'm still gonna do that sooner or later. I'm still just waiting for things to, let's say, align. But anyways, Rebalance Weapons, Defense Type, Sword Weapons. Increased damage dealt to enemies by certain strong ground attacks. Increased damage dealt to enemies by certain strong air attacks. Now the weapons that it will be used for is Crimson Longsword, Jet Black Longsword, Blast Sword, Shibiku, which right here's the list of it, of what they can, or what that applies to. Alright. Shark Skin Weapons. Now easier to break an enemy's guard with certain strong ground attacks. Now easier to break an enemy's guard with certain strong air attacks. And the weapons that apply with this is, you know, naturally the Samihatas. Now, you have the Sword of Nuno Boku, which is the only one that isn't Samihata. But yeah, that's kind of crazy too. Now, Scythe Weapons. Increased damage dealt to enemies by certain strong ground attacks. Basically, this is just like the swords. And then the Fan's Weapon. Increased damage dealt to enemies by certain strong ground attacks. And here we go with rinse and repeat. Basically just like the sword weapons. Now, the Twin Sword Hira Mikari release, which this is the one from the May DLC. Increased damage dealt to enemies by certain strong ground attacks, which basically just like the same sword. Kagimasa's Sword. Increased damage dealt to enemies by certain strong ground attacks. Same thing. Blast Sword Shibiki release. Explosions deal increased damage to enemies. Okay. Finally. It used to be just a cosmetic, but now they actually added this where it increases the damage of the explosion. That's gonna be nice to have. I might switch to that with my defense type builds. Alright, and then they changed one of the Ninja VR Masters. So master character adjustments, Naruto Uzumaki. So we're talking about the original Naruto Uzumaki that came with the game, the base game Naruto. Enemies hit by certain strong ground attacks have their substitution disabled for longer. Enemies hit by certain strong ground attacks have their substitution disabled for a shorter period. Enemies hit by certain strong air attacks have their substitution disabled for longer. So yeah, that's the end of the video. I'd like to say thank you all for watching, and please like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell so you can be notified for when I drop the next video of Shinobi Striker. Or don't do anything I just said and be a rebel. But please do so because it really help out my channel. But anyways, Lordagon1 logging out.